Pioneer.
So what's going on, guys? EJ here, bringing another Lord of the Rings Rise to War video. Today, guys, we're looking at a little bit of a different formation. This is my second formation that I've been testing out and using a little bit. Over the last few days or so, I did some PvP in that a few days ago on that, so we're going to go back and check out those reports and stuff like that. We're going to break down, show the commanders, the gear and stats and everything, and we'll get straight into it. Righto, guys, so here's the formation. So as you can see, I'm using Legolas here. I'm using Faramir, which is an interesting one. He's been pretty decent. Gandalf, of course, the Grey, who's fantastic, really good damage reduction, and my Gil. So this is the kind of setup that I've been using. He's doing pretty good, as you'll see from the result from that. So I put my best damage gear on Lego to try and get and see how much damage and stuff I can do with him. So with the skilling, I've been maxing out Greenleaf and stuff. I've been maxing out these two first, basically because the first one here has a round 1 reduction, and then I like this one more because it does a bit more physical damage with the incursion as well, and then I put my other fair points into the fair. So this can get an initiative at level 5 as well, which can be pretty decent. I'm pretty close to that. I would just need to level up a little bit more. But as you can see with the gear, I've got really good attack gear of 237 attack, not really good command or anything, damage of 37 to 53 range. And running the bow knights, of course, because we're using some swans and gill and stuff with the build. And so that's the build that we've got going with him. Faramir, very interesting, at a respect level 15. So I have the gear that I usually run on, like my Bjorn and Gimli and stuff like that. I did unlock his relic as well, which is pretty good. So in the first 2 rounds, Faramir and this formation's ranged units gain initiative and their damage dollars plus 10%. Basically I don't have it leveled or anything like that. The skilling wise, I always go for ranges of Athelion, because of course that's physical damage with incursion with initiative as well. The guide is also pretty good as well. This is going to help buff the attack of your other commanders as well. And then I've got Last Steward, which also does physical damage with a 1 round cooldown as well, with 30% chance to deal additional damage at level 5 as well. So yeah, he does quite well, as which you will see very soon. Just before as well, my Legolas is respect level 8. I'm going to do a more in-depth video of him by himself later on, because there's a lot of people that use him as well with the gear and his relic and stuff like that, so I'll talk about him more separate in the actual video. Alright, so I've got Gandalf the Grey here, so I use all the same kind of gear that I use on my Gandalf the White here. Zenith level 6, which is insane. He went from like respect 15 to Z6 after the big update with the changes and adjustments. And I do have his Glumdring here, which is pretty good, with the 6% commander damage reduction as well, which is really good, and a few extra buffs there with like command and stuff. Not the highest command of 244, but pretty good focus as well, which is good for his White Council, of course. I'm using his Mithrandriel Dual Blows, and then I'm using White Council and Wizard. They're the points that I'm using. He had the Grey there, but his healing's not that good, and running Bow Knights on him once again. So there's my 3 Bow Knights. Next, we have Gil, who I'm going to be running my tier 4 Swans. If you don't have these guys, then any tier 3 melee unit is really good, but I'm doing all mounted. So as you can see, I have a near full gear here of thick armor, which is really good. So 612 command with really good defense on your Swans, really tanky. It's going to be really, really good. Of course, I've got at least 5 points into Ithaqul here, so I can get the stun. Of course, Kinley Kin with the evade. That's why we're running the 3 other units of the Bow Knights, and then Alliance Leader. So he can still do some quite really good damage. So yeah, I've got really good gear there. As you can see, it's mostly for unit attack. Don't have this fully strengthened up. I could have broke it down and then used like the gear and stuff like that, my hammers and that, and strengthened it up, but it's got most of the stats that I need from it for the time being, mostly the command, so I didn't really worry too much about it. And of course I got his Agelos relic as well. Alright, so let's have a look at this formation in battle, shall we? So I've got a few reports here to check out. Rightio, guys, so this is going to be my first battle that I'm going to be showcasing. So this was against a guy called Kohan, and I was all level 40s, of course being my second army, not leveled up or anything, versing a level 45 Gil and the rest of 42 Thranduil, Elrond and Galadriel. If we have a look at, here's a Z6, really good, so that's a very good guild that you can see there. So versing are pretty decent. Respect level 12 Thranduil. And then he is also using marchwardens, which of course we know with these guys have keen eye, so that's going to really help. So take that in consideration as well with his Elrond there at respect level 13. Pretty decent gear and got relics in that as well. So he's got relics, pretty good gear and stuff. Like, so this is a pretty solid army. So to get this result where I did lose, but when you take into account the levels and such and the units, I think this was a really good battle. If you have a look at the breakdown, you can see 177,000 damage received to 188,000, nearly 30,000. So about, let's just say this is about 150 to 180. So it was not bad whatsoever, like a pretty close battle. Nonetheless, I'm pretty happy with those results. Moving on to the next one was against James here, which is here. So you can see it was a very close battle. So he's using all mounted here once again. He's using people like Gandalf the White Knight. So look at his commanders. We've got respect level 10 Thorundel here with the relic. We've got a respect level 11 Elrond with relic. Pretty decent gear as well. A lot of nice gold as well. Gandalf the White, definitely a lot lower tier when it comes to my Gandalf the Grey, but still very, very good there. Of course, it's going to have White Council, which helps out a lot in battle no matter what. And then we have Gala here, pretty good gear as well, respect level 11. So looking not too bad. Now, if we have a look at the breakdowns, you can see this was 208,000 damage minus the 30, so about 170 to about 150. So we did win that one. If you look at the damage breakdowns, you can see that Legolas is doing not bad, of like nearly 70,000 damage there, and then 40,000 from my Faramir, and then the other guys aren't doing a whole lot of damage either. But they're doing, that's pretty solid damage, especially when you got White Council and such there. And the evade definitely comes in handy as well as those tier 4 Swan Knights. If we just go back as well, we talk about the last one as well. So you can see with the battle ones here, there was a lot better damage here of 70,000 and 64 damage. So you can see the difference that White Council makes when doing damage as well. Alright, moving on, the last one I wanted to show you is this one. So I did lose this battle, but this was against like the full meta, very strong, and I wanted to show you it was a pretty decent result nonetheless. So when you see this lineup, you know it's fantastic. So you got Bjorn there looking very nice, you got Z1, Gandalf the White, you got Dane. So this is the full absolute meta like God mode build, as you can see. As you can see though, we did do some good damage of 70,000 to 66,000 from these lower tier damage dealers. Even though we did lose a battle, we did do a good chunk of damage. And another thing you need to take into effect here, all level 47s versus level 40s. And I did survive, so that's really good. I would have loved to seen this if it was more even. So doing like pretty good against the full meta there if you have a look. So 170,000 damage received to about 258,000. But all in all, the breakdowns of the damage was pretty good, and it was a pretty solid battle there, guys. So yeah, these guys can do quite well. I'd love to get Legolas's relic as well and test him out a bit more in that. But all in all, this is not a bad like second formation build, guys. As you can see, it can stand up to the meta in that a bit as well. Alright guys, well I'm going to wrap up the video there. So until next time, peace out, EJ's out, and I'll catch you guys later. See yous. Thousands of the EJU army, yeah, you guys are legends to me, so let's keep up.